everyone, and happy Easter. Thank you all for joining me. If anyone's on, if you can let me know if this is all coming through okay, as usual. And if you want to let me know what you guys are getting up to for Easter. I'm not particularly religious myself, but I'm always open to eating some chocolate eggs and having a lazy day with the dogs. But as it's the beginning of the month, I just wanted to nip in with you guys and cover my last month EatSee sales figures, and also I've got some more little things to chat about. So hopefully that'll be interesting. If you haven't been here before, I'm Pam Duthie. I'm here to help you craft your career with creative marketing and artistic inspiration. We also have Mia down here. She's lying out on my legs, so I can't actually fidget too much, and she's just about out of shot. But yes, she likes debuting in our in our stream. She likes joining us all for the stream. So I hope you've all had a good week. If you let me know what you've been up to in the chat, what's been happening, if you're selling online, what's good, what's bad, what's been enjoyable, if anything cool's been happening with your shops. For me, as we'll see, it's been another good month. So let's think about getting right into that to start with, and then hopefully we'll have a few more people in the chat and we can have a nice chat at the end. But let's dive straight into my EatSee stats just now. So this is for the month of March. Hey Mia. So as I said, I'm just wanting to show you realistic sales stats for someone that basically my shop's been open for nearly 10 years now. I've had some good points, some bad points, some highs, some lows, and I just want to share with you what realistic sales figures are for a shop like mine. Now some people will be doing way better than mine. Thanks for your bum in my face, Mia. Some people not so good, because that's what it's like selling online. But these are just something. It's definitely not to brag. I know plenty of you will look and go, is that all? And then other people will be really wishing they were doing as well as that. So everybody's different. It's just to give you an idea. So what we have here is we're set up already on my stats page for the month of March. EatSee's really nice and quick giving us up our figures. So I know it's only the first day of April, but we've got the stats up. Excuse the noise, Mia's kind of woken up and decided to start digging my carpet. Yay. Okay, so our total views for March were 3,094, and that's 2% up year on year. And remember, I always say check from this time last year. There's no point. I could bring up my stats from like November or December or some other like last month. That's not comparing apples with apples. And even that, especially this time of year, can be a little bit different because Easter moves the time of year. So people might be more likely to buy your stuff if it's kind of Easter themed, so you might be busier later or earlier. But it gives you a better comparison if you compare with what you did last year rather than compare with what you did a couple of months ago. So I'm up just 2% in overall views, and my visits again, I'm up 7%. That's 1,582 visits. And a reminder again, views is people just looking at any page on your site, and if someone goes and clicks and goes to 3 different pages, then that's 3 views. But a visit is the one person visiting your site. So even if they clicked on your EatSee shop and they clicked around several different listings, it might be only one visit, but it's several different views in that one visit. So it's kind of good to have a much higher number for your total views than for the number of visits, because that means people aren't just clicking on something in your shop and then straight back out of there. They enjoy what you're doing and they stick around for a bit longer. Excuse me. So it's good to take a look at this ratio and trying to be always increasing this ratio, because this means that your listing was good, it was intriguing to the person, so when they clicked on it they wanted to see more stuff. Another way that you could boost this is in the description of your listing have links to other listings. So, you know, if you like this, what about this other complementary thing? If you like the hat, I've got these gloves that go with it. If you like this in this size but want something bigger, try this. So help people out to stay in your shop for longer. So now, the money data, and having a look, I got 7 orders in the month of March, which is 20% up on last year, which I can't do the maths, but that can only be 1 order. So last year I must have got 6 and this year I've got 7. But where this is a big difference, I've got £508 this year, and that's an increase of 198% year on year. So March this year has been a fantastic month, and that has all come from, I've had a lot of good orders, but I had one really nice big order for a lot of little dogs, which hopefully I'll get shots of them as I make them, but it's going to be 10 of the same dog but in lots of different poses. It's a great fun order to make, and I'm working through that just now. That's why I have a lot of bodies lying about the place. I keep looking off to the left because I have the piles of bodies off to the left here. So there we go, pretty cool. Now, again, because it's been such a good month, I haven't done a whole lot of work in my shop. I spent a little time trying to catch up on renewing some of my expired listings, but I haven't done a whole lot. But we'll have a look at what's going on in the shop to see how I can improve things. Because I think, again, I'm at the stage where if you're consistently busy, then this is the time to raise your prices. So I might be looking at raising my prices soon a little bit so that my sales drop slightly, so I get a bit of a breather. Right, but if we have a look down at my traffic sources, so we're seeing 45% of my traffic sources come from EatSee. And this is such a big deal. People are saying, what's the point of EatSee? We're paying all this money for EatSee, which we're not paying much money at all. But if I had my own website, after 10 years of building up myself as a brand, I would be driving at least half the amount of traffic, because nearly half of my traffic is coming from people who are already on EatSee. So EatSee is giving me value in that, you know, people are coming directly from EatSee. And then we've got 22% direct. That could, any links that I've given people, it could be from YouTube. I do have links in YouTube. It could be from Facebook, it could be from our websites, anything like that. So the traffic that I'm physically driving myself from my own work is only 22% of the overall traffic. And then social media is also 20%, 22% as well. So direct and social media are about similar. And if we scroll down, my search terms, always good to look at these because this does change throughout the year and throughout the years. I had, well, that was terribly said. I had for a little bit of time, personalised dog was a major search, and then cat lover's gift, that's been a top search. But for the past month, needle felted dog has been a good big search, which is good because it's something that I optimized for a long time ago. So this is kind of showing people are searching for this and they're finding me with this and they're clicking on me with this, so that's cool. Dog lover's gift, and the single word personalized, which is quite interesting because that's such a vague term. Felt dogs is what I make. Ben McFuzzy Lugs is cool. It means people are searching for me directly. Needle felting kit. So it's cool that people are finding me with that. I only have a couple of actual tutorials, not an actual physical kit. So maybe that's an idea in the future. If people are searching for this, I might be wanting to make some kits. I used to do them in the past, so I might give that a try. Havanese makes sense. I've been quite popular for that specific breed of dog, and this is a thing I've always said. if you can, the more specific you are, the better people will like you. When I put up I know people are finding me on Needle Felted Dog, but when people are looking for a gift or a dog made, they'll put in the breed of their dog quite often. So if you're specific and have as many different things, breeds of dogs, breeds of cats, names for children, all sorts of really specific things, then you're more likely to rank and sort of be an expert for those things. So Havanese has been popular for me, which was a real surprise to me because it's not really a breed of dog I've had much dealings with. I hadn't even heard of them up until that point, but it's been really popular. And again, Cairn Terrier, that's a fun one. I just made one of them because a friend of mine has a Cairn Terrier and it's been quite a popular search term. And the websites where traffic's coming from, as we said, the most of it is coming from EatSee, but I also have a high level, I've always had a high level of people coming from Pinterest, which is awesome. And this is not from my Pinterest in general. When I check this is from other people pinning my work, which is awesome. Leanne, is that how you say it? Leanne. Yeah. Happy Easter. I nearly said Happy Christmas. Happy Easter, Leanne. Good to see you here. Yep, so I'm now getting, actually, that looks like 10% of what I get from EatSee. I'm getting 10% from YouTube, so that's pretty cool. I didn't open my YouTube channel to drive traffic, and if you're doing YouTube, you really don't want to be sending people away from the site. You want to build up a social media following on the platform that you're on. But it's also kind of cool that people find me in one place and then go and look for me in other places. So that if you're marketing yourself, it doesn't hurt to have yourself in lots of different places if you don't spread yourself too thin. So you sort of build something up, focus on that, and then once you've got that down pat, once you've got that so it's not such a lot of work for you, then work on something else. Obviously my YouTube is not so much for building my EatSee brand, it's for learning more about SEO and hopefully helping you guys who are not necessarily my potential customers, but more people that I can help to grow your own EatSee shop. So it's a kind of different thing. Yeah, so that's what we've got there. Let's have a quick look at what the popular listings are. So as usual, it's my cat bookmark. As we know, this bookmark is the thing that people are pinning to from Pinterest. It's just really taken, like, for about 8 years now, people have loved this picture and they just pin it everywhere. So that's cool. Doesn't get a massive amount of sales, but it's always been steady. Well, I say it doesn't get a massive amount of sales. Over the years, it's my best seller. Come up to Christmas, I sell quite a lot of them. But it's not like 20 a day or something, which I couldn't make that many, but you know, it's popular. And here's where the Havanese is coming in. This is a listing with a Havanese dog. It's not showing up as having many orders, but it draws a lot of people into my shop who then buy other things. And here, if we're saying kits or tutorials, this is a PDF tutorial. Oh, excuse me. That I made this many years ago. It's not a physical item, it's a digital item. And this is what I talk about when I talk about scalable or hub content, stuff that you've made that you can just leave, you know, I don't have to do anything to that anymore. If people buy it, it just downloads automatically to them and I relist the listing. There's no more work needed. So, I mean, let's face it, these are the best kind of items. I should work on some more of these. But more important, going to look down my least viewed listings. So these are some listings that have not been getting a lot of love over the last 30 days. Now, as I said, I've not been working on my shop too much because I've been quite busy. But I want to be showing you how I work on things to improve stuff to hopefully get more sales and get more seen, because as I'll get to in a minute, so many people are constantly talking about how their shop's doing rubbish, how their shop's dying, and I just want to show you the different things that I do to actually physically make things, hopefully, you know, when things are not doing so well, what you do about that. So one of the most important things is to come to your least viewed listings part of the page, and the first thing you do is look and say, are these terrible listings? Is this something that is absolutely rubbish that I should stop doing? And actually all of these that are showing up have been popular listings in the past. The photography is pretty good, they're pretty good items, so I want to work on these a bit. Now it could happen that trends have changed, I can't speak today, trends have changed and people are not into these as much as they were, but I'm going to give them a last gasp. I don't want to totally do away with them and say these are rubbish. I want to give them an extra try, and to do that I'm going to pick an item. I made a video, last year I think, on Love a Loser, and this is what I mean by this. You go to one of your listings that's doing the worst, but that you don't think is a terrible listing, and then you focus on trying to do well with that listing. So I'm going to pick, just for random no reason, this little Yorkshire Terrier dog. I made him a while ago, but I think the photography's still okay, everything's still kind of good with that. So I'm going to work on this dog over the next month, and we'll see if we can take him from the bottom and get a few views. So the first thing I'll do, I won't do it while you're watching me just now, but I'm going to renew this listing. I'm going to work on the title and the tags and see if I can add in some of my more popular terms. I'm going to maybe pop that photograph through Photoshop and see if I can improve it a bit. It does look a teeny bit washed out, and put it into my featured items in my shop, and maybe post about it on my blog and stick it up on Facebook. And just for the next month, I'm going to love this listing, and we're going to see if we can get a sale off of this listing. It might happen, it might not, but at the most I bet you I can get more than 2 visits in a month for this little guy. And this is what I would advise to anyone. If you're not doing so great, look at some of your, I mean, I'm not going to lose anything out here if I make changes to this and it drops off the map and nobody sees it. He only had 2 visits anyway. So picking on things that are not doing so well, but that I still know are good listings, this is a great thing. Love a loser. Alright, let's have a wee look at my promoted listings for the month. If you haven't already, remember and check out my video for promoted listings. I'll put a link in the comments to this. But super important to make sure, if you're going to use promoted listings, and I do recommend it because it's really not expensive if you do it right. But remember, the second you go into promoted listings, you want to go click on manage and then advanced settings, and you want to change your cost per click, maximum cost per click, to something really small. I'm up to 4 cents. I started on 1. I've put it up to 4 just now. I want to check that. But you want to put it as low as possible, and I've explained all in the video why that's super important. But let's go at last month. Oh, that was cool the way it did that, animated slightly. So for the last month with my promoted listings, I had 33,000 impressions. Impressions are just simply where, if someone searches for a term on the screen where you've got all the other search results, my item was on that page. So that's an impression. And then a click is where when my item was on a page, someone decided to click on it. So I got 400 clicks out of those 32,000 impressions. Again, this is such an important metric to keep track of. If you want to check what you're wanting to do, if you can, when you make any changes to anything, see how this ratio changes. There's no right or wrong what's a good or a bad ratio here, but it's just you have your ratio, and if you do something and that ratio drops, if people are clicking less for the number of times it's being seen, then your pictures, something's wrong. If they're clicking more, then you're doing better. And so for the month, it's cost me $14.43 for all these 32,000 impressions and the 400 clicks. I've got 3 orders out of that, which isn't bad. If we said I only had 7 orders for the month, that's a good whack. That's nearly half of my orders from the month have come from promoted listings, and I made $172. So that's more than the 10% I usually go on, so that's pretty cool. Teodora? That's a cool sounding name. Am I saying that right? That's what I'm saying. Every single person that comes on. Teodora, happy Easter. Good to see you here. Leanne, working on a couple of your listings and you got them to the first 5 pages. Hope when next winter comes someone will buy something. I want, like, awkward high five. I think totally the right thing to do there. That is awesome. And it's the right attitude. You're getting them up to the first 5 pages, but you're not saying, I've got them in the place, I want them to sell immediately. You're getting them in the right place, and hopefully the sales will start coming. But that's all we can do. Get them up there, get them seen by people, and the sales will follow. But we don't expect 2 million sales in the first 10 minutes. It would be nice, but it's not going to be the case. And this is something, let's go back to my big ugly mug. And Sharon, what's the name of my EatSee shop? I'm Ben McFuzzylegs on EatSee. It's actually the name of my dog. And I make needle felted sculptures. I will just flick back to here. This is my shop, Ben McFuzzylegs. Back to my big ugly face again. Low Country Wreath, hi there, Laurie, and happy Easter. So what's everyone doing for Easter? I'm on a little bit of a sugar high. As a few of you already know, I've been keto for about a year, which is like a super low carb, high fat diet. Well, I say diet, I see it more as a way of life. It took a bit to get into it in the first place, but actually I really love eating this way. But you can't be a saint all the time, and because it's Easter, I have had a little bit of chocolate. You know, I had eggs for breakfast, eggs and rabbit, cream eggs and chocolate bunny. So I might be a tad hyper, and I'm going to KFC for my dinner as well. Terrible, but you've got to treat yourself now and again. So what's everyone else doing for that? And Mary's here. Hi there, Mary. Happy Easter to you too. So yeah, what was I going to talk about? I'll lose my train of thought so quickly. Yes, the other thing I wanted to talk about, while we're all here. Now, I had someone leave a message on one of my videos, my Is EatSee Dying videos, and I was trying to get back to them and they retracted the message, so I can't remember their name, so really sorry, but I just wanted to help if I could. And it's a message that I get quite a lot in a lot of ways, is basically, you know, that EatSee is doing them terrible. You're spending all this money and not getting any results, and they're just in it for the money, and whole loads of terrible things. And I actually wanted to try and help this person if I could, but I don't know their shop or anything, so I can't physically do that. But I just wanted to try and help a little bit with realistic expectations, because we can, I think most of us really can make it on EatSee, but we have to have an idea of what actually making it is. Now, I've got a few quotes right now, and these are things that I hear all the time. It's like, it's too late to get started. The algorithm's changed and it's killed everything. The algorithm only favours the big guys. A little person can't grow in 2018. Hundreds and hundreds of comments and messages like this. But actually, where all those comments and messages came from, there are people talking about actually growing a YouTube channel. People say the same things about every single platform. They always feel it's too late, everything's against them. So basically, this is the thing. If you're selling on EatSee, do you really think it's impossible for someone to make it on YouTube? Do you think it's impossible for someone to make it on eBay? Do you think all these platforms are out to get us? Because I want to tell you straight away right now that it is not harder to start on EatSee than it was before. As you know, we've been talking about my mum's new shop that we made for her. We just started at the beginning of this year. Now, myself and my mum have been on EatSee for nearly 10 years, and the first year of being on EatSee, neither of us sold much. It took months to get any sales. So this was 10 years ago when people are saying how easy it was. And now mum started her new channel, and what happened? In this first few months, her new channel has made quite a few sales, 3 or 4, which doesn't sound a lot to some people, but when you compare it to like none, it's a whole lot more. But also between her 2 shops, she's now at the point, in the beginning of April, we've had the first 3 months of the year. Between her 2 shops, she's made more and sold more in these 3 months than she made the whole of last year. So a new shop can totally make it, and nobody's against us. Mary saying her husband's shopping for food right now, so no idea what we'll eat this evening. Awesome, send someone else out. So is he cooking for you as well, or do you have to do the random sorting out the bag and figuring things out? But cool for you getting them sent out. And thank you, Sharon. Thank you, I appreciate that. Right. And as I was talking about how this thing on YouTube is, I'll pop this up just now. I did a search. Now, I made a video saying, is EatSee dying? And that's the one that I got the message on. And just for fun, I thought I'd do a search for, is YouTube dying? Now, I've got here these numbers you see underneath the search bar. This is from Keywords Everywhere, I believe, which is a plugin you get. It's a plugin you get for your browser that just pops up like how many people are searching for this kind of term. So for a completely different platform than EatSee, for YouTube, there's 36,000 people a month are searching for this term, is YouTube dying? And people have made over, 12 million videos on this thing. So it's a big subject on whatever platform you're on. So don't go getting crazy about thinking, you know, EatSee's dying because of a certain thing. It totally isn't, and people talk about everything there. Yeah, Mum's saying she had Mary Duthie in the chat. Hello, is my mum. It's over a year before she had a sale in her first shop, and I can't remember. It was probably coming up to about 6 months for me as well. It was a good time. Sharon's got the Easter weekend off work. Oh, that's awesome. It's good to get a break. What is it that you do? If you don't mind sharing. That's a kind of personal question. But yeah, cool to get a weekend off just to chill. I've actually probably been more busy this weekend than I usually am, but if you love your job, then it's all good. Right, I want to have a look at something else here, and this is EatSee Rank. What I'm talking, I've mentioned this before, but I just wanted to show it again, is what we need to have is realistic expectations. So I should have asked you. Yeah, I'm gonna cheat here first of all. Back to myself, right? So for all of you that have an EatSee shop, what would you consider is a good number of sales? What are you going to consider yourself a success at? What do you think some of the big shops are making in sales? If you just let me know in the chat what you think, what you are going to consider is a winning number of sales for the lifetime of your shop, or for this month, or for this year. What do you consider as a good number of sales? Mary says they both cook, but he'll probably do it today. Awesome. It's always nice when someone else searches for you. Cooks for you. My head's going too fast. Leanne, could you suggest to get my friends and family to help and buy something from my shop in order for it to look better? Um, to an extent, you can do that, but it gives you a bit of a false sense. It's not a bad idea to boost yourself to start with, because sometimes it looks bad if you don't have any sales and people will take a bit of time not to buy. But also there are loads of people who want to be someone's first sale. It's not bad. But the thing is, anything where you try and game the system. Now, I've been guilty of this. We used to spend a lot of time playing the shop games, you know, like for like, favour-thons, all this kind of thing. But this is giving you false feedback. So I would say it's better to try and grow organically. Now, not a big deal. If you want to ask your friends and family to buy a couple of orders, to buy a couple of things, so you've got a couple of orders there, so you get some feedback, so you get a bit of practice going through the whole process and seeing what it's like to sell on EatSee. That's not a bad thing at all. But you don't want to grow unfairly, because like I say, that's EatSee's going to look and say, oh, for the number of views, when you get 3 clicks on this item, you sell it twice, so that's fantastic, this is a great item. And then they'll push you up in search or something, maybe briefly, and then what's going to happen is, if your item wasn't that good, if it can't really compete at that level, then suddenly you're going to get like possibly hundreds of impressions and nobody's going to click, and EatSee's going to say, no, well, this is rubbish. So it's better, and I'm not saying your items are rubbish, obviously I've not seen that, but it's better to kind of grow a step at a time. It's like YouTube videos. As I say, I'm trying to learn to grow on YouTube. Now, the videos I made a year ago are nowhere as good as the videos I'm making just now, and are nowhere near as good as the videos I'm going to make in a year's time. So if I'd have done unfair things to try and promote myself then, I would have kind of boosted myself up a few steps further than the quality of my videos meant I could be, which would mean that people would have watched my videos and not liked them and not come back. So it's better to sort of trust the algorithm, trust YouTube, trust EatSee. They'll put you out in front of the right number of people. So if your items are really fantastic, super quality, and everyone loves them, then you're going to build up anyway. And with everything else, Pinterest, everybody will be favoriting your items. You will get seen. It takes a bit of time to build up, but you will get seen if you trust the algorithm. And this is the thing that EatSee wants to promote the shops that are going to sell the most. So if you have the best product, it might take a bit of time to get seen, but you're going to do the best. So it's best not to try and game the system. And like I say, I've been there, so of course we all want a little bit of a boost, but it's best to try and do the best practices, get your SEO in order, get everything perfectly right first of all, if that makes sense. Sharon sells alcohol, fantastic. Unfortunately, on the ketogenic diet, alcohol isn't the best thing. We can drink, but not that much, so I try and be good. Leanne's been selling my product off EatSee for years locally in my country. That's fantastic. So you do know that you have a good product. What you can possibly do is direct some of your customers to your EatSee shop as well. But yeah, that's a good thing. So you just need to get in there and make sure that all your SEO is good and learn the process of EatSee. But yeah, a couple of sales to family and friends won't hurt at all. Sharon's a Canadian and works for the government. Fantastic. And hello Canada. Where's everyone from? I'm, as some of you know, I'm near Glasgow in Scotland. Mary, a success for me would be 5 sales for a month. But to make this make me happy, 5 sales per week. Normally you get 3 sales a month. That's fantastic. No, that's really good because you've got some realistic expectations there. Now you have a baseline of 3 sales a month, which no need for a frowny face. Plenty of people would be happy with that. But you know what you're striving for is to increase that, and 5 sales a month is a reasonable expectation. So many people look and they'll see some shops that are making 70, 80, 100 sales a day or something, and they want to be that. But these people are the top of the tree, they're the creme de la creme, and we have to climb slowly. So yeah, so strive towards 5 sales a month. Fantastic, that sounds great. And then the next goal, once you get that, is 5 sales per week. So that sounds fantastic. It isn't quite as linear as that, unfortunately, as you'll see, depending on what your shop makes. But you know, like just now I've made 7 sales last month. At the Christmas period I was making 20 to 50 sales a month, probably more than that sometimes. So it's not quite linear, but if you can look and say average out for the year, you would be happy with 5 sales a week. So that's what you're striving towards. I think that's a really fair goal to strive towards. Eliane's from Latvia. Cool. Low Countries from South Carolina, near Charleston. Simrose. I don't know how to say that. Oh, you guys are making it so tough for me with the difficult names. I think it's only really Mary and Sharon that I know how to say their names here. But success is 1 sale per day. Again, that is depending on what you sell, but that is a very realistic goal. And Leanne loved to get 1 sale per week on winter time. So fantastic, guys. All of you have realistic expectations, I think. Lots of people are expecting to sell hundreds of things. So you have your peg, you have your this is what I want to get to be successful. And now it's just how we work towards that. But what I was wanting to show is this fab thing on EatSee Rank. It allows you to search in the top sellers section, which is tools and top sellers, lets you plug in your shop name here, and it lets you see some stats about yourself. And the really interesting thing I found here, well, we'll pop through the lot of them. So total sales have been 743. The numbers don't add up all over the place. It just gives you a rough amount, because sometimes if one customer buys 6 or 7 different items from you at the same time, then this is counted differently in different areas. I would count that as 6 sales, but quite often EatSee counts that as 1 sale. And also some of my listings are for 2 or 3 things, so 700 might not mean 700. I talk rubbish sometimes, I apologise. Sales rank global 1,000, 100,000. So there we go. I'm in the 100,000 out of however many there are on EatSee, which I don't. Oh, here we go. Well, how compared to 1.4 million? So that's actually pretty cool. And 5,000 in the UK. My shop is 9.8 years old, and over the entirety of that time, my average sales per day just now is 0.21 sales per day, which is actually pretty high in my estimation for a handmade thing. This is what I'm saying. If it depends what you're making to what's realistic. You know, if you make hand carved furniture, then for some people 1 sale a month might be more than they can make. If you make mass-produced badges, you might need to sell 50 a day, so it's a different kind of thing. Tidora is Bulgaria. Cool. Yeah, and my category, it's put me down in arts and collectibles. That's cool. as well. I'm happy with that. But the thing that blew me away the most, it's so important, I'm fetching my pen out. Ben McFuzzylugs, my shop, has sold more items than 93% of other sellers on EatSee. This blew me away because that number, until I read this, I thought that number was fairly modest. But we're not being realistic in that you only see the big guys, you only see the top sellers, and this gives you an idea that perhaps you should be selling hundreds and hundreds a day. But most people on EatSee are not necessarily that good. So if we put the work in, we can do so much better than most people on EatSee, but we've got to be realistic about it. You know, if you've just opened a shop, or you're just starting out, or you're just starting to try and do everything right, then it's going to take a bit of work to build up to the levels that you want to be. But it's totally possible if the levels that you want to be are realistic. And I think everybody here has just said really cool, realistic goals. Let's just yeah, top sellers. Let's just have a nosy here, because these are the top guys, right? When you look at this, you think the most sales yesterday. This one shop sold 4,000 items, but they're a total outlier. We scroll right down. Sorry if I'm making you feel ill scrolling too quickly, but the 100th. Now remember, there's more than 1 million sellers on EatSee, so the 100th biggest seller yesterday sold 88 items, which is still amazing, and these must be things that you can mass produce, or patterns, or things that don't require much work, or these people are going mentally scared. But you know, this is the top 100 out of 1 million. So you know, it's not realistic. You see this and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to be one of these. But this is also like saying, if you've trained and you work in a company somewhere, you expect to be the CEO of the company. Only one person gets to that level. So we've got to look at, it would be lovely to be that 1%, but we're not going to be. So let's be realistic. We're somewhere a bit lower. But still, it's always good to aspire to something a bit higher. Trying to remember to put all the transitions in, but I'm not so great at that. Leanne, from little things, big things grow is what it says to me. Yes, you are so right. No, we have to. The simplest analogy for doing anything online is, it's like pushing a snowball up a hill. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. So you make your shop, you make a YouTube video, you build a website, you do anything that you're going to do, and that's just you at the bottom of the hill with like a snowflake. And it takes some work, you know, to push it up that hill. This is the grind, this is the graft. We're all working at it, we've all got to do stuff. And as you can see, like, you know, I've been grinding for nearly 10 years and I've made lots of mistakes, but now I'm at the point where I'm saying I'm not actually having to work as hard as I used to have to work, because I've built up a little bit of momentum. You know, each time you get another happy customer, each time you improve, each time you figure out your photographs, each time you figure out some SEO, that's you pushing the snowball a bit further and it picking up some more snow, until eventually we'll get to the point where it's not going to be totally the easiest thing in the world. It's still work. This is the thing, is these are still jobs. You don't expect to make a full-time living without putting in some full-time hours. That's just how it is. But when you get up to the top of the hill with this big snowball, it's a whole lot easier to get it moving. And that's what we should all be striving to get towards. And don't think that the work you're putting in at the start is a waste of time. again, using the YouTube analogy, because it's very much why I started trying to do YouTube seriously. Last year, I was making lots of videos. In March last year, I believe I made about 40 videos. I made and published about 40 videos. I was working so hard, and I said to myself, I was going to give myself a year on YouTube, using what I understood about SEO, doing this whole grind, and see how I got on. And over the year on YouTube, I was picking up some views and subscribers, and I was doing okay. I went live a couple of times, and actually nobody turned up. It was quite embarrassing. And then the first times that people turned up, it was amazing. To be able to chat to you guys is totally cool. But you know, I tried all these things, but then it gets easier and easier. Like the first few months, now, not that YouTube at the minute in time is making me tons of money. YouTube can make you a little extra money, but at the beginning of the year, the beginning of last year, it was getting around £1 a month for the videos I was making. So 40 videos, I earned £1. But it's got easier now, and now I'm not, like I say, I'm not making tons of money. I never planned to be making tons of money, but I now earn a little bit every month on YouTube, which I'm feeding back into a Patreon sponsor, Brian G. Johnson, because he's really helped me grow my channel, and I learn a lot of extra things there. And you know, like saving up, buying the webcam, which is supposed to be a good webcam, but I still haven't got the hang of it yet. But you know, I'm able to invest back into my YouTube a little bit more because I've built up. And this is what happened, you know, this year's better than last year. And I've got all you wonderful people who are chatting to me, which I have to pay attention to you. Simro really likes listening to me. Oh, thank you so much. That is really nice. I totally appreciate that, because one of the things when you start, especially doing something like YouTube, I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not gorgeous. I'm not £100, and I'm not American. So I wondered if people would even understand my accent. I'm not the broadest Scottish speaker, but I worried if my accent would annoy people, or people just wouldn't like, you know, you don't you don't know how well you'll be taken on video. It's such a big step, but it's also, it's so exciting and so much fun. And it's kind of, it's what I love about YouTube, is that it's all real people. I mean, most of us would do terrible on proper television or cinema or something, but we can be real, we can have flaws, we can chat to you all, we can share what we've learnt, and it's a pretty cool platform for that. I really do like that. Leanne, is this my full-time income, or do I have some other jobs also? I have plenty of other jobs. This is a balance. I've been self-employed for over a decade, about 15 years now actually, and it's something that all entrepreneurs, one way or another, generally have found is it might take a few shots before you find something that works. And also, I feel very much in this day and age, it's difficult, especially when you're starting, to find just one thing that'll give you a full-time living. I was initially, when I was self-employed, I was a driving instructor, and that was really good, but it is slightly seasonal in that during the winter, if the roads are bad, I couldn't take people out, so I was losing money. And during the summer, people might be on holiday, so you might get people wanting to start to learn to drive, but at the same time, some of your regular pupils might be on holiday. So it was quite up and down and all over the place. So I discovered that I could do it, but it would be really tough to make a full-time living all year round, because then you would have to be, you know, make hay where the sun shines. You would have to be like really grafting. And there was, I remember one memorable day, and never did it again, where I accidentally ended up working from 6 in the morning till midnight doing driving lessons. just the way it worked out. But boy, that was a tough day. And I realised that was not sustainable. I couldn't, in the busy times, cram in so much work to tide me over to quieter times. So it was better to have a mix of different businesses, which is why I went on to EatSee as well. That meant like EatSee for me tends to be busier in the winter, in the run up to Christmas. So that can be at a time when I couldn't do driving instruction as much because of the potential weather. So it was good to have two different things going on there. And then over time the driving got less and less. Just to be honest, I live not that far away from a driving instructor training centre, and as the economy was getting worse and people were losing their jobs, a lot of people think, oh, driving instructor, there's an easy way to make money. So people would go get themselves trained, they'd come out and wanting to start up their own business, they would immediately try and slash all their prices and try and encourage people to take super cheap driving lessons. So it becomes not sustainable for most of us to make a living out of that. But the thing is, when you're trying different things, it's a balance to know when something's not working and you need to quit it, compared to you're just on this bottom of the grind and you've got to work hard because you're just about to strike success. So if you can really see that something could be sustainable, like EatSee, I can see I put the work in, I get results. I put more work in, I get more results. So it's worth doing. The same with YouTube. I put the work in, I'm getting results. So these are both paths that can work for me. But with the driving, there was a limit to what I could do. So sometimes you have to step away from something. But what I did, I took a lot from that, in that the driving instruction, a lot of that we were taught how to teach, how to bring forward an idea and, you know, teach people it. And I do have to tie that in a whole lot more, a lot of the things I learned from that, but how to take a concept of, you know, how to drive a car and explain it to someone. And it also gave me the confidence to be able to do that face to face with people, because that was totally a big deal. I mean, I was quite young at the time as well, but to be able to say, I'm an expert on this, let me teach you. So that kind of gave me the balls to better stand up and do it to you guys, do it for you guys. Sorry. Other things I'd learnt with that, I'd tried building my own websites and I'd learnt a little bit about SEO, nowhere near kind of expert levels, but these are all things I'd learnt a little bit about. I'd been learning about photography to try and take pictures of my car for the website. So that all helped me. At the same time, because I'd started doing my EatSee shop a little bit by this stage, I'd started needle felting, and I thought I'll have a go at selling some of these, because those of you who do crafts know you have to sell some of your stuff, or you have to do something, give it away or something, because you just get overrun. I mean, I have got like tons of little dogs just sitting here waiting for me to finish them off. So I started trying to sell on EatSee, and then I was able to take the things that I'd learnt, but also it was, you know, it was helping out with the EatSee's busy this time, driving's busy this time, and that it just showed me it was for me not stretching yourself too thin, but making sure that you're putting enough work into each thing. Like, I wouldn't say, if you're trying to sell on EatSee, don't try and sell on EatSee, Amazon, Folksy, eBay, your own website. Don't try and do 20 different things at once, but maybe don't just do one, not having your eggs all in one basket, but it just depends how much time you've got to do these things. Sharon understands me fine. Family hails from England, Ireland, and Scotland. So does my husband's. That's cool. I'm glad to hear it. I've actually been blown away about what lovely feedback I get, that my accent's not too bad. It's a bit of a mongrel accent. I moved about all over the place. Bit of a mutt. Because I was born in Scotland and I grew up in England, Newcastle and then Birmingham type way, for most of my childhood, and then I came back up here. So I clearly have an accent, but it's not strong Scottish, it's not strong anywhere in England, it's just my accent. But I appreciate the feedback. It's always nice to know, because it's a tough thing. But any of us, if we're selling on EatSee or whatever else, I've said this in a video before and I want to reiterate it, we're all entrepreneurs and we should be proud of ourselves for doing that. So you can stand up and you can say you're an entrepreneur, you know, you're doing these things, you're learning, you're pushing forwards, and if you keep at it in the right direction, seeing what works, then you can do awesome. Oh, Sharon, here people get their real estate license and go out and sell homes. Yeah, exactly the same as that. I get that, the driving instructor thing. People go when they've lost their job and they all try and do this thing where they think they're going to make tons of money. I totally get that. That's hilarious. I never thought of that. But yeah, there are actually, I've noticed on YouTube there are loads of channels of people saying they're realtors, however you say it. And I didn't, it never occurred to me that so many people are doing that because they think it's the easy way to earn money, when I bet you it's really not an easy way. And it's also kind of crazy, if if the economy's doing bad and lots of people are losing their job, to try and take a job selling big ticket, really expensive things to people, that's got to be a tough market to crack. I mean, it's cool if you get into it, like these are big ticket items, but yeah, that's that's a tough one. Magdalena's here. Hi there, the lovely Magdalena. We were just over on Drew, that's British Cook. His channel, he did a live just before me. Unfortunately, we all cross over times. It's difficult for my friends. I have a little community of YouTubers that, from Brian G. Johnson mainly, we all kind of know each other, trying to support each other, and that's, you make friends and it's really cool. British Cook Drew is a British cook. He's from Cornwall. I mentioned him last week, but he had his little live stream. That sounds patronising, it's a Scottish thing. He had his live stream just before me, but unfortunately I'd timed it badly, so that meant he was still going when I had to skip over here and see you guys. So Magdalena was over on his channel, and you don't have to apologise about being late at all. I totally appreciate all you guys' support, especially Magdalena is so generous with all of us. Her support to everyone is so cool, so I appreciate you being here. Hi Sharon, lots of cost for the realtor. Is that how you say it? What a pronunciation day I'm having. Lots of costs even if they don't sell. Absolutely. And that's where I think it's a crazy, people think it's a get rich quick scheme. It was the same in a different way with a driving instructor, because then you've got to have a really good car, you've got to keep it like really good. The training was such an expense. It just seemed like a good idea at the time, but I made a mistake, which we all do, and I can imagine selling houses so much so. And that's why EatSee is such a good thing. If you're already making stuff, the outlay is tiny. That's another thing that the person that mailed me today said in her mail, and they're saying, oh, they're shelling out so much to EatSee each month and they're not getting anything back for it. But really, EatSee's cheap. You know, if you're hosting your own website, it costs more. But our 2 cents for a listing is all it costs. They're not charging us for having a shop. So there is very little risk. It's the good thing with EatSee, it's a time suck, especially at the beginning. It's a time suck, but it doesn't cost us that much, so the risk is far less. You know, rather than going out and getting a license to sell homes or to teach people to drive or something. If we're already crafting, if we're already making art, you don't need anything expensive. I mean, you don't need dead expensive photography equipment. You probably have it in your pocket just now. You know, most phones can take pretty good pictures. you don't need expensive supplies, because try selling what you're already making to start with. You don't need, I wouldn't start off with like 200, 300 listings. Build up gradually, so it's not going to cost you that much, so it's actually really worth it. The exact same with YouTube. I know some of you do YouTube channels and things. It's free to sit and talk in front of a camera, so pick things that you can excel at that aren't going to put you out of pocket, because if you're looking to make a living off something, we all have some extra time. One way or another, we can all make an extra half hour in our day to try a different career, but we can't all afford to waste hundreds and thousands of pounds to try and set something up that we don't even know if it will work. Sharon was gonna say I sounded like a Geordie. Insulted. My mum's gonna be so raging at that. She always used to when we were kids, and we were Newcastle way from when I was about 2 till when I was about 7, and we got told off so much if we came home with like any kind of Geordie sounding words. We had to keep it pure. um, but I've had that in the past when we were little in down Birmingham way. People would talk about Geordie sounding accent there as well. So yeah, it totally makes sense. I think a lot of people, the foundation of where you get your accent to start with when you start speaking kind of sticks with you the most. Although some people just wherever they move, they pick up the accent like straight away. But I've got a friend that actually he's from Glasgow, and he was down in Birmingham way for probably been 15, 20 years now, I think about it, and he's back up in Glasgow now. And to my ear, he still has such a thick Glasgow accent. But he said someone was asking him directions in the street or something, and total stranger, and he replied to them, and they're oh, you sound very posh, which I thought was hilarious. He certainly doesn't sound posh, but he doesn't sound as rough as some Glaswegians can be. Right, guys, I think we'll just be tying this up soon, mainly because I'm super looking forward to KFC. If I was better, I would love to have made a roast lamb and been really sensible with all of this, but as it's a cheat day, I'm gonna enjoy it. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'll hang around for 5 minutes more and see if you guys have any other questions or want to know anything. But if not, we'll tie this up. And as always, it's been great talking to you guys. If there's anything that you want more or less on in these kind of live streams, or any videos that you want me to cover, any subjects, you can leave them in the comments here or drop me a message and I'll try and sort that out. If you're not already a member of Pam Duthie's Felton Friends on Facebook, it's a really cool group. There should be links in the description below. But if you want to join that, that's our little private group where we can chat and support each other. It's a lot of needle felters, but we've also got people EatSee selling as well, and there's been it's been friendly and awesome. Where are we? Mary, you're most welcome. Sharon, I have to learn to take good photos. Yeah, that's something I think we constantly have to learn all the time. I'm playing around with that. One of the best investments I had near the start was to get myself a light tent. I'll just skip back to my screen. I got a really cheap light tent off of, where would that have been? Off of eBay. I think it was like about £5, which is just a pop-up tent that was a couple of foot in size, and it just makes the photographs easier. So we've got like the photographs we can see with a white background, which has been popular for so long. I think I have to find another way of doing things, but it was something I wanted to learn how to do. So I did that in the light tent. Now have I got, where's the other pictures? Oh no, I've been too good here. Just want to show you something if I can find it. See, when you want to talk about something and you can't find what you're looking for, it is an utter pain. Yes, here we go. So this is an example of the pictures I take in the light tent, which they don't, it's good, but it's not amazing, as you can see. But then what I do with the photos from the light tent, I take them to the website PhotoFuse, which is free, and it's also, it links up to your EatSee shop. So literally it will grab a photo you tell it from your EatSee shop, edit it and stick it back in again. So you've got from this kind of dull grey thing, which I could go through Photoshop, but it takes forever and I'm not that great at it. But you go from this, and then it will cut out your backgrounds and give you these kind of bright white, which are not amazing, but they're better. Drew's here. We were just talking about Drew. So British Cook, if you haven't already, guys, go over and check him. If you're loving on my accent, you're gonna love Drew's. He's from further down south and doing British food. My ability to talk today so sucks. So Sharon, yeah, taking photos is something we just constantly change all the time. But if you haven't already, if your items are small enough, I would recommend a light tent just to practice on. But very much PhotoFuse is great to help editing. And all, see the fantastic pictures you see. All good photographers actually are better photo editors. So don't just take a picture off your camera. It's in the editing that a photograph gets amazing. Oh, Magdalena wishes I lived near her so she could cook for me. Oh, that would be lovely. I wish that too. That would be awesome. This is cool. Last week I was getting offers of getting my nails done, and now I'm getting food. This is fab. Just a shame the world is quite so big that I can't get to you all. Leanne, do I have plans to make a live stream about Pinterest? I could totally do that. Yep, I've done. Last year I talked a little bit about Pinterest, which I'll find the links and stick that up in the comments eventually. But that's a great idea. I will totally do that. We've mentioned it a couple of times, but yep, that's going on the list. Thank you so much. Have a lovely KFC. I will, well, I hope I will. This is the most annoying thing when you've been good, when you're on a diet or a different lifestyle, and you've been good for so long and you plan in a cheat day. I remember like a few years ago, I'd planned in a cheat day. I was like, I really want fish and chips. I really want fish and chips. And I got to the day, I was like, that's great. Ordered them up. And on a cheat day, this cheat meal that you get, it should be perfect. The chips should have been fluffy and crunchy and everything you want them to be. Were they? No. Soggy, the oil tasted stale. Really, such a disappointment. But KFC is going to be good. Low Country Wreath, enjoy your KFC. I certainly will do. And yep, hi, hi Drew. I hope your live stream went good. Sorry I had to duck out. It appears I keep clashing with people with the times of my live, but then then my people get annoyed at me that I've trained them to like about 4 or half 4. Sharon, been good chatting to you as well. Thank you so much for joining me and enjoy your Easter. Low Country almost went to KFC last night. Oh, they have an all-you-can-eat buffet. That sounds great. There used to be a Chinese restaurant down the road from me that had a really good all-you-can-eat buffet with loads of different things that I wouldn't necessarily have tried if you had to have the whole dish, like the crispy seaweed and things that you don't get in a normal takeaway, and the salt and pepper chips. Yeah, this is a thing. I'm making myself so hungry now. In Glasgow, I don't know if it's a thing all over the place, but you get in takeaways, they do munchie boxes. This started, Drew, you can tell me if you get munchie boxes in other countries. in other places in the UK, but it started like in kebab shops where you would get like a pizza box and just filled with bits like some chips and some kebabs and some bits of this and bits of that. And then they started doing it in Chinese restaurants as well. And the biggest thing was the salt and pepper munchie boxes, which had your salt and pepper chips, chicken strip, lots of things based on the similar theme. But they were charging them so cheaply. It was like a 14-inch pizza box crammed to the rim with all sorts of food for £4 or £5, which, see, if you're hungover on a Sunday, was awesome. And it got to the point that they thought this was going to be a lost leader. It was going to bring people in and they would buy other things, but people were just buying these salt and pepper and munchie boxes. And so the restaurants were stopping doing them. And all over Facebook for months, everyone was going, anyone know where you can get salt and pepper munchie box from? And like, if a shop opened it up, everyone was diving on them to get them. So awesome. I'm making myself hungry now. Sharon, I know you can make a light box, but it'd be good to find one. I will try and find the links for the light boxes that I've used. I'll put that up as soon as I can find them. I should put links in my next video tomorrow, if you keep an eye out for that. Leanne would love to eat at McDonald's, but she's in the countryside for the holidays and there's nothing there. I can't believe that you can be somewhere that there isn't a McDonald's 10 minutes away. Everywhere you go in the UK, just about, you can get to a McDonald's. Magdalena saying, Drew, I thought you were on a diet. Exactly. We know Drew does a bit of the keto as well. Mary uses her phone camera, then PhotoFuse or GIMP on the computer. Yep, you can do fantastic with the phone camera. Yeah, British Cook in Cornwall. Not so much with the munchie boxes, but everywhere in the city do them. It's no wonder we've all got an obesity problem. But anyway, I have to figure out how to switch off this live and leave you all to your evening. Thank you so much for joining me. It has, as always, been awesome. This is like one of the more enjoyable parts of my filming experience. I don't have an edit to do, as Drew was mentioning in his own stream as well. It's the editing is such a big part of filming, so it's great to just be able to hang out with you all, and I will see you all next week. Hopefully have a good Easter and a good week. Thank you so much.